I just finished my first ever Big 4 busy season and it was completely remote. Hey guys, welcome to the channel. I'm just Chris Ouch, and today we're going to talk about what is it like working remotely at the Big 4 accounting firms. I started working at the Big 4 back in late October, so by the time of recording, it's been around 5 months since I started working at the firm. I've also recently completed my first busy season, and it was completely remote. So to give this video a nice flow, let's start talking about the pros and cons of working remotely at the Big 4 accounting firms. I dislike commuting very much, but it always has been something that you have to do. There is no way out of it, and it's one of the necessary evils within our lives. So in one day, I'm averaging around 2 hours of commuting. But because I'm working from home, I have so much more time on my hands to wake up slowly, wake up later, enjoy my breakfast, all that kind of jazz. And because of it, I just simply find myself having more time in my day. After speaking with some of my colleagues, I think it's pretty much agreed upon that in 2020, people worked more hours across the board. There are a few reasons for this though. It's very typical that your senior or manager will come to you and ask you to complete an assignment by the end of the day. In person, you'll usually have your senior or manager check in with you by the end of the day around 5 p.m., 6 p.m. If it's found that the assignment was taking longer than expected, and it wasn't of top priority, then the senior manager will just say, you wanna know what, Chris, John, Sarah, why don't you go home, rest up, you can finish it off tomorrow. However, now that we're remote, there isn't as much check-in anymore. Also, by working remotely, depending on the engagements teams, the lines have been blurred of when we start work and when work will end. So this means that people are working normally more hours than they usually would if they were working in person. During the busy season, it's pretty typical to be working past or at 8 p.m., 9 p.m. at least. When it's really busy, I know I'm working at any point between 11 p.m. or 1 a.m. However, this kind of ties with commuting. Because we aren't commuting, we have more time to sleep. If I finish work at 12 a.m., that means I'm going to sleep by 12:30 a.m., not 1 a.m. or 1:30 a.m. because of my commuting time. This also means I don't have to wake up at like 6 a.m. or 5 a.m. or 7 a.m. to get ready and get to work by 9 a.m. I could just wake up at 8:30 a.m. and be ready in time for the 9 a.m. work start. I had one boss explain to me that she misses the camaraderie and the teamwork that was exhibited when they were working in person. Audits can be very tough and time-sensitive jobs, and thus it's very important to have an entire engagement team rely on their other team member. No one can do it alone, and so it really helps when you have a team of very competent people working towards a very similar goal. If you're working in person during a busy season, you're working with the same people and seeing them for long stretches of hours for 5, 6, 7 days a week. That means you're eating together, you're joking with each other, you're talking, you're getting to know each other, you're developing friendships, you're developing networks. When there's a high sense of camaraderie and a lot of friendships being built during the job, it's a lot more easier to get through the more tougher and longer days. Unfortunately, while working remotely, you don't have that, so it even feels isolating at times. Because I'm working from home, I'm easily able to go downstairs at 6, 7 p.m. and eat with my mom, dad, and my sister, my entire family. Because being a Big 4 auditor could demand such long hours, it's hard to see the people that you live with. So if you live with a significant other or have a family of your own, sometimes you're not able to see them all the time. I could understand that if your biggest support is your own family and you're not seeing them as much because you're working such long hours in the accounting firm, it could be very difficult to cope with things and trials and tribulations that you will see during your audit engagement. Fortunately, because we're in this pandemic and we're forced to work remotely, we're able to see our family more and able to stay within our familial support system. Typically, when you are working in person and working really late nights as a Big 4 auditor during a busy season, the firms will allow you to buy dinner at their expense and take out from any restaurant that you would like. It's like a great way to kind of compensate you and thank you for all the long hours and hard work you've been putting into the engagement thus far. Sometimes I crave sushi, and when the firm is willing to pay for my sushi, man, the sushi tastes even better. Unfortunately, this is rarely the case in remote environments. It's just not as feasible when everyone is scattered into different locations for the firm to pay for your dinner. Although I have been on clients where the firm will pay for your dinner via paying for your Uber Eats or your Lyfts, but they're just not as common. You're not having that face-to-face interaction that you're usually having when you're in person. Sometimes, when accounting becomes confusing and a client doesn't necessarily understand what you're talking about, being face-to-face will really help kind of alleviate a lot of the confusion that the client is having or that you're having yourself. And because of this remote environment, you're spending less time with your colleagues face-to-face, so they have less of a chance to get to know who you are, how you work, and develop those connections. Thus, at the end of the day, I think it hurts your network. I think it's just fact that it's much more hard to build up your network, your professional network, in a remote environment than it is in a local, in-person, face-to-face environment. As mentioned before, I found myself having more time in my day because I'm working remotely. Mostly because of that minus commute time. Because there's more time for me to study for the CPA, get all that studying in so I can pass the CPA exams. So it's been a full year since we've been told to stay at home. So I'm very excited to go out, meet people, work with them, and see them face to face. If COVID has taught us anything, it showed us that it's possible to effectively work remotely. Ideally, as things begin to open up in the future, I hope that I can work remotely 2 to 3 times a week and then work in person, go to the office 2 to 3 times a week. You know, give and take. Maybe Monday, Friday, we work at home, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, we work in person. Anyways, that's the end of this video. I hope you learned and enjoyed it. Hopefully you understand what it's going to be like when you work remotely in a Big 4 accounting firm if you have not done so already. If you enjoyed this video at all, let me know by leaving a like, comment, and subscribing down below. And I'll see you guys in the next video. Ciao. Boom!